This video was sponsored by BlueStacks, which is a completely free Android emulator that I use to run Azur Lane and record these videos on my computer instead of my phone. Since my phone is kinda trash and struggles to run Azur Lane at some points, especially on World 13 and the newly added Operation Siren game mode, I've been using BlueStacks a lot more to run Azur Lane much more smoothly. Over here on BlueStacks, you can go and tamper with a lot of settings that allow you to go and have much better performance, such as much higher frame rates, and that overall leads to a much smoother experience most of the time. If this sounds interesting to you, I have an affiliate code that you can use in the description below to download BlueStacks completely free of charge. See you guys in the video! Hi guys, I'm Ander, or FBOpenUp, back with another Azur Lane video. Today we'll be going over the new event, Inverted Orthant, featuring a bunch of new German ships to cover. Along with this, we'll also cover some new gameplay updates and changes, and with that, let's get started. First up, there are a lot of new New Year skins added to the games, the new ones and the old ones that are back for a limited time. We've got 3 new live 2Ds, one for Peter Strasser, one for Jean Bart, and one for Richelieu. Odin has a very nice one that I'll probably buy in the future. Got Tirpitz, Belfast, Georgia, and Suzutsuki when they have a little cameo of each other in the background. That's a little nice. We got a lot of new ones, as well as, of course, as I said, the old ones as well. And a couple of new ones, and there is a lot of New Year skins, so you will have plenty to choose from. And the list goes on. Along with this new update comes a brand new dorm set that's very cozy and winter themed, featuring stairs that look like the stairs from Kimi no Na wa, so if you ever wanted to reenact that nice little scene with your Azur Lane ships, you can now do so. Heading on over to the shop now, we'll go over the lucky bag and the gear skins. We've got not one but 2 lucky bags this time around, with the difference being that the 2020 bag is from the 2020 New Year skins, such as Noshiro, Suruga, and Ryuho's live 2Ds, and of course the 2021 ones are the brand new ones featuring the Peter Strasser, Jean Bart, and Richelieu live 2Ds. And also the one little difference is that this one has 2021 gems and this one has 2020. I know it's a huge difference. And also the promise crate is back, so if you ever want a good deal on those 2 promise rings, you can always buy those. So Akashi's gonna get a ton of money this time around. Good for you. Along with that, let's go over the gear skins too. As always, the gear skins are obtainable from the event shop for 2,000 event points, as well as the general shop for 7,000 gold. These gear skins are interesting, so if you ever want to buy them, you have the option to do so. One very nice thing about the New Year's is that Azur Lane always gives out a free SR ship. By going over to the event tab right here and clicking on New Year's Invitation, you will have to log in for 7 days and ring the bell 7 times by going to Go and clicking this. You will have the option to choose 3 different things. Academic will slightly reduce the amount of time that it takes for a skill book to be done in the tactical training room. Career will slightly increase your damage in some sorties, and marital will increase the rate that your secretary ship gains affection. Most of the time I just go with marital, so you will do that, receive a blessing, and if you do that for 7 days, you will eventually go and get yourself this ticket right here, which is called the New Year's Invitation, and with this item you can redeem it to select an SR ship of your choice, being between Warspite, Atago, Illustrious, Zuikaku, Shokaku, Hood, and Montpelier. So this is very nice, and don't forget to do it. Continuing on with this string of mini-games, we next have the Manjuu Showdown, which you can access through the New Year's tab right here, and then clicking on Manjuu Showdown. In this minigame, you play to go and obtain Harutsuki's limited outfit. All you have to do is simply throw snowballs at anything that pops up over here, but be careful not to go and hit any Manjuu or the Shiratsuyu that pop out, or else that will make you lose points. Along with this backup bar right here, once you fill it all the way up to the top, you will call in a snowball airstrike. So right here, all you have to do is not hit this Manjuu right here, and you just kind of wait until something pops up, and be careful because Yurachi throws snowballs really fast. So you pummel this poor little child there, and yeah, that's it. Honestly, if you just want the skin, you could just quit right now by clicking that, and you will be done for the day. So play this for 7 days, and you'll be good. You get the cool skin. Yeah, pummel this child too. Yeah, we get all the points. I'll play up until this backup bar comes to the top. So do not hit those or else you will lose points instead. Wow, this is a lot slower than I thought. I thought there was going to be like a lot popping up. Wow, yeah, and they throw snowballs at you too. And you have 3 lives, so if you get hit by a snowball, you'll go down by 1 life. But wow, this is really easy. I think it gets faster after a while, I think. Well, okay, this is really slow. Where are the enemies? Anyway, if any enemies pop up, I'll go and show this little backup thing right here. Wow, this is taking forever. Okay, whatever. So then you send it back up, and then you get a little nice snowball airstrike, and they die. Or they don't, because they just go away in their hole. Anyway, yeah, that's it. Bye. Now we're not done yet, we have one more minigame to cover, and that is the New Year Food Festival. In this minigame, which you can access through the top event tab and then going down to Food Festival, you will go and memorize 3 different foods in a particular order, and if you do this for 7 days, you will get the limited ship Z28. So to start, you would just click select, memorize these foods in the particular order, so weird colored thing, taiyaki, and candied apple, so then you would put that in the correct order, and that's it. And you can either choose to retire or continue. You just need at least 5 points, or whatever points, and then you can be done for the day, and that's it. And of course, with every event, there is the accumulation rewards. This time around, if you go and get to 10,000 event points, you'll be rewarded with the brand new ship, Z24. So there is that, and all you have to do is accumulate a bunch of event points from your missions and of course the event map drops. One more quick mention is to the portrait frame event called Combat Preparation Ironblood. What you will have to do is that you will have to either limit break all of the event ships other than Z28, or use a certain ship on an event stage. So if you go on over to missions to see what I'm talking about, these are the points for this event. So what you'll have to do is fully limit break every single event ship in the event. For some reason Z28 is not included, but if you do these 6 right here, you will get enough for that portrait frame. So have fun with that. Going on over to some really nice updates, the prototype shop has been updated. If you go to munitions and then the prototype shop here, you will notice that there are 2 new very good additions. You can now purchase the retrofit items for San Diego and Warspite. So of course this is for San Diego's retrofit, and this is for Warspite's retrofit. So anyone that has missed out on this, you definitely should be getting your San Diego and Warspite up to their maximum retrofit, because they are both extremely top tier ships and they were insanely good. So definitely make sure that you go and get their retrofit item in order to complete it. So see how Sandy needs her little microphone here, and if I go to Warspite over here, you can see how Warspite needs her little sword. You can buy it now in the shop, so you don't have to wait for the event, so that is a major plus. In addition, you can also buy this helicopter in the Corda shop, which you can only use on one ship in the game, whose name I cannot say or else I will offend every single German person watching this video. Oh my gosh, my voice just cracked. So anyway, you can use this on blank retrofit, so once you retrofit her all the way, you can now use her helicopter on that, so that's pretty cool. In addition, there have been 2 little changes to the tactical class inside of the academy. The first being, if I head on over there real quick, you will find that there is now a 4th slot available for purchase for 600 gems. You can now buy the 4th slot if you really want to, but in my opinion, having at least 2 slots is already plenty enough, so this really isn't a big priority unless you really want to speed upgrade all of your new ship's skills. And also, one other really nice little change is that heading on over to the depot, you can now craft tier 3 gold books. Before this, you actually couldn't, but now you can go and use 4 purple books to go and create a gold book. Of course, this means that you are going to be losing out on some skill XP, but if you value your time more, you now have the option to go and make some gold books, which is very nice. Especially for those people that have a lot of books sitting around, and you just want to go and get that XP out as fast as possible. Now moving on to the event shop guide, this time around there are no new gears to cover, so this should be pretty straightforward. If you don't feel like farming for U37 on either B3 or D3, you can just buy her from the shop, or if you just get lucky in the gacha, you could wait for her. But you should definitely get at least 1 copy before the event ends, because she is a super powerful Wolfpack submarine that is a great addition to any submarine fleet. Moving on, the gold and rainbow blueprints of course are very useful as well, so you should definitely be picking those up as well. The general parts are always something that you can never have too many of, along with gold and oil if you're ever running low on them. The gold cap boxes are nice if you need them, and if you want some gear skins, you can go and use your points to go and redeem those as well. For how to farm inverted Orthant, the first stage that I would always recommend is the SP stage for that very nice and juicy 800 event points, as well as the chance to go and get U37. The blueprints aren't too noticeable, but the stages that do have very nice blueprints are of course D3, which gives you that chance to go and get U37 once again, as well as the extremely good submarine-only G7E homing torpedo, which is the best gold torpedo for a submarine, so I would highly suggest farming for this if you are using your submarines, because these are very good. Along with this, if you don't need any of those, you can also farm D1 over here, because it has the gold 533mm quadruple magnet torpedoes, which are a fantastic torpedo for any vanguard that can equip them. Before we start the ship reviews, some people wanted a more definitive tier list instead of just me doing ship reviews, so here is Anders' little tier list for inverted Orthant. Of course, this is my own opinion, and things could change in the future, depending on whether or not a ship becomes magically better, so here you go. 3, 2, 1, and on to the ship reviews. Starting off with easily the best ship in this event, who for some reason is the only gacha ship in this banner that refuses to drop, as you can see by my 11 cubes remaining. We have Prinz Heinrich. Starting off with her stats, she already looks insanely powerful. She has the highest firepower out of all heavy cruisers, even on top of Azuma, and on top of that she has the 4th highest HP stat out of all heavy cruisers as well. One other thing to note is that the Azur Lane Komakon states that she can equip large cruiser guns like the gun Azuma uses, so if that's true, that could be quite interesting. I don't have her, so I can't say anything for sure, but if someone could fact check that, that would be very appreciated. Moving on to her skills, for her red skill, if there is at least one other Ironblood ship in the same fleet as her, which is not hard to accomplish since there are so many good options to choose from, she gets an additional 15% increased reload and evasion. Also, when she fires her main guns, there is a 50% chance to increase her own main gun damage by 25% for 3 seconds, with a 7-second cooldown between activations. For her blue skill, every 20 seconds after the battle starts, she will fire a special barrage and deploy one out of the 2 different types of shields that will last for 10 seconds. The first type of shield blocks 2 torpedoes, and the second blocks 10 shells. With such a great combination of stats and skills, Prinz Heinrich is definitely a top tier heavy cruiser, and definitely a very good choice for anyone looking to build a solid vanguard when building an Ironblood fleet. Next up, we've got a rare edition, a new Ironblood carrier, Peter Strasser. I don't know about you, but I think she gives us some serious Kurumi Tokisaki from Data Live vibes with her big clock that kinda looks like Zafkiel, or maybe it's her black hair and red eyes, I don't really know. Anyways, stat-wise, she has the 2nd highest health out of all carriers, tied with Graf Zeppelin, and a slightly above average 11th highest aviation stat. Moving on to her skills, Peter Strasser's first skill simply grants her a guaranteed additional torpedo bomber airstrike whenever she launches one. Her second red skill is quite interesting, as it permanently decreases the speed of all enemies by 8%, and in addition, once every second, there is a 10% chance to set the speed of all enemies to 0 for 3 seconds, similar to Formidable's ability. The one problem with this skill is that it's pretty unreliable, so most of the time you will not be able to efficiently take advantage of this time stop. Finally, her third skill increases her own aviation by 5% for every additional Ironblood ship in the same fleet as her, with a max of 3 stacks. Also, if there are 4 or more Ironblood ships in the same fleet as Peter Strasser, then she will also reduce the loading time of the first 3 airstrikes of all Ironblood carriers and light carriers in the same fleet as her by 10%. So overall, Peter Strasser would work great in conjunction with the recently buffed Graf Zeppelin, and she's a pretty solid carrier in general. She doesn't quite make it to the very top tier along with the other broken carriers, such as Shinano, Essex, Centaur, and Formidable, but nonetheless, you won't be disappointed if you decide to level her up. Next up, we have another Leipzig-class light cruiser, Nürnberg. Stat-wise, the only thing that stands out is a relatively high anti-air stat, being the 10th highest out of all light cruisers. Skill-wise, she brings something new to the table. Her yellow skill fires a special barrage every 15 seconds in battle, And the cool thing is that she increases the XP earned by submarines that participate in the battle by 10%. So for anybody looking to level up their submarines a little bit faster, then this might be a good way to do so. In addition, her red skill increases her own torpedo stat by 10%, and the anti-air of Ironblood ships in the same fleet as her by 15%. Furthermore, when 3 enemy aircrafts are shot down, she increases her own anti-air by 5%, with a max of 3 stacks until the end of battle. Overall, Nürnberg doesn't do anything too outstanding, but if you need a ship with solid anti-air that can also grant extra XP to submarines, then she's good for that role. We also have a new light aircraft carrier, being Weser. Being a normal light aircraft carrier, aka not Centaur, she has some rather lackluster stats that aren't really worth going over, but moving on to her skills, she has 2 fairly interesting ones. Her red skill has a 70% chance to launch an additional special airstrike whenever she launches an airstrike, and in addition, if there are 3 or more Ironblood ships in the same fleet as her, Weser increases her own crit damage by 20%. On the flip side, if there are no other Ironblood ships in the same fleet as her, she instead gets 10% more reload and 15% more anti-air, and she increases the proc chance of her special airstrike to now a guaranteed 100%, being that it is at originally 70%, and then she ups it by 30% more, making it 100. Moving on to her blue skill, every 20 seconds, Weser deploys a shield that lasts for 8 seconds on a randomly chosen vanguard ship, capable of blocking 6 shells. If this shield is instead given to an Ironblood vanguard, it also increases their firepower by 15% for 8 seconds, and it also heals Weser for 5% of her HP. She is definitely a solid light carrier with some solid skills, but the one thing holding her back are her rather poor stats. If you're looking for a good Ironblood carrier to use, you could instead just use Peter Strasser from the same event, and that would probably fare you better. Next up, we have a new addition to the Submarine Wolfpack gang, being U-37. She is obtainable through the event map, through stages B3, D3, and SP stage, as well as a 0.5% chance in the event banner, as well as being exchangeable in the event shop. So from either one of those ways, definitely make sure you get at least one copy of her, because just like her Wolfpack sisters, U-37 is yet again another top tier submarine that gets even more powerful when she's sorted with other U-boats. She has great stats, basically beating out U-47 in every category except for firepower, and in addition, she has some very good offensive skills. U-37's first skill, Westward Trident, increases her oxygen stat by 20, allowing her to stay submerged for a little longer, as well as granting a 15% damage bonus against light armored enemies. In addition, she also fires a special torpedo barrage when she resurfaces, so that is just very nice. For U-37's second skill, she increases her own speed by 3 and her reload by 18%, as well as gaining an additional 6% increase to her torpedo, evasion, and accuracy for every other Ironblood submarine in the same fleet as her. These skills make U-37 a very powerful submarine, and she will work excellently with the other SR U-boats, such as U-47, U-101, U-81, and U-96. Next up we have Z24, who is the point accumulation reward that you get for collecting 10,000 event points in this event. She has very similar stats to other Z-class destroyers of the same rarity as her, such as Z23 and Z1, and she is a main gun focused destroyer. Her first skill increases the damage that she does against destroyers and light cruisers by 15%. In addition, once per battle, when the HP of one other Z-class destroyer other than her falls below 30%, she decreases that ship's damage taken by 30% and increases her own firepower, torpedo, and reload by 15% until the end of battle. For her second skill, she fires a special barrage on battle start and every 20 seconds after. In addition, whenever she sinks an enemy, she increases her own firepower and torpedo by 4%. I know there's a little typo right here, but that's not supposed to be there, it should say 4%. And this can happen for a max of 5 stacks, so that can be a total of 20% extra firepower and torpedo at max stats. Finally, the last ship to cover is Z28, who is another Z-class destroyer who is torpedo focused this time around. Her first skill increases all Z-class destroyers' firepower and accuracy by 10% and anti-air by 15%, and if there are other Z-class destroyers in the same fleet as her, Z28 will then get an additional 10% firepower and torpedo boost, as well as a 15% ASW boost. Z28 also gets a smoke screen for her second skill that lasts for 5 seconds on battle start, and for a 30% chance every 15 seconds after that, granting an additional 40% evasion rate. She also gets a 70% chance to fire a special barrage whenever the flagship takes damage, with a max of 1 trigger every 20 seconds. With those ship reviews finished, that will bring an end to this inverted Orthant event guide. As always, if you found this information helpful, consider dropping a like and subscribing. Don't forget to press the notification bell for my future uploads as well. Feel free to leave a comment if you have any questions that need to be answered, and I'll try my best to reply. If you're interested, you can always join my Discord server if you need any advice or just want a place to relax. That's all for this video, so I'll catch you guys next time. Bye!